world, and welcome to Solar 2, or I suppose really that should be Hello Universe, shouldn't it, since we're not really in the world, although at some point we might be a world, which would be interesting in itself. I'm here today, not really out to achieve anything, I'm just playing it because I wanted to play it, you know? I just wanted to be an asteroid and just roam the cosmos for a while, because, you know, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I love space. I freaking adore space, astronomy, astrophysics, all that jazz. Just fascinates me. I'm a huge sci-fi fan. I won't say I'm a huge sci-fi buff because I know feck all about anything other than the stuff I occasionally watch. And it's always been my interest. Always loved looking up at the stars and stuff. And I suppose you know, not really seen many asteroids in my time. Seen my fair share of meteorites. You know, seen plenty of shooting stars and stuff of that nature. And wow, look at the white spaceships. At least they're not coming for me. I just felt like playing this. You know, I would say, do you guys ever do that? Just sit down and play a game just because you want to? But I imagine if you don't have a YouTube channel where the sole purpose is just playing random games, you only ever sit down to play the games when you want to. So it's a redundant question when you really think about it. Nice. Now, this game, you've seen me play before, so you're going to hear me say the same things over and over again. This doesn't actually represent genuine stellar evolution. This is not how stars are created. You know, they're not asteroids. They don't turn into planets and then planets turn into stars. It just doesn't work that way. Yeah, I know. Oh look, neutron star. Nice. I've got all the physics set to normal as well, which is unusual for me. Normally I'll set gravity to 0 to just make it interesting. So, you know, when you're a planet or a star, it makes it that much harder to attract everything. But yeah, just gravity is set at 1g. You know, 1g, or is it rather... I suppose 1g isn't an accurate way of pointing, because 1g is the force of gravity at the Earth's surface. Gravity is set to space normal? What would you call it? Universal standard? Gravity is just as it should be. Gravity is functioning as gravity should. Relatively weak, but, you know, we can live with that. I mean, we're not going to die by unintentionally crashing into any stars. If we encounter a black hole, we're not going to have a good time, but... That's true for most people that encounter a black hole. Whee! Hello, my brothers and sisters! Rocks in space! I should also say that if at some point you hear me break into a random coughing fit, don't worry. I'm not dying, I'm getting over a cold. If you've seen my update, you'll know exactly what's going on, why I've not released any videos lately. Basically, I had a bad case of man flu. But, you know, I'm getting over it. The lovely, delightful mucus from the nasal cavity has ceased to be. I've got no sore throat, but I do still have an annoying cough. That always seems to be the thing that linger the longest with me. You know, I mean, I'm not particularly congested. I won't say I'm not congested at all, but the sneezes come and go, and the runny nose and the sore. I mean, I didn't actually have a sore throat with this one, so I've looked out, because sore throat is the one thing I hate. I just hate the sore throat. Ooh, wow, look at my planet! I'm a small planet. Yeah, I don't like sore throats. I'm gonna. Oh crap. I'm just gonna admit that now. I hate it. It's the one symptom I can live without. If I could live without all the symptoms, but if I could choose to endure a cold, as long as I didn't have to have one symptom, it would be the sore throat I would lose. But yeah, it's the cough that's lingering, and it comes and goes. I mean, I've done fairly well so far. You know, but the more I talk, the more likely I am to break into a coughing fit. So just watch this space, I suppose listen to this space, and you will hear the sounds of my life coming to an abrupt end as I choke to death on my own throat. I don't know. Oh no, they're shooting at me. Ow. That was mean. It's no fun being a small planet when people are shooting at you. Fortunately, there's plenty of rocks here. Oh, he's coming back for more. Run away. Run away. One thing I feel this game is lacking is I can't have my planet assume an orbit around a star. I would love that. You know, if I could just go, oh, hey, look, a star, let's go be friends, and just hang out with that star system for a while, because there's lots of benefits to it from a planetary point of view. Especially if your end goal is life and spaceships, and let's be honest, as a sci-fi fan, my end goal is always spaceships. Always spaceships. For a moment, I thought that planet there was an asteroid. Bloody big asteroid. I think you do get some pretty big ones. I mean, just go ask Eris. Yeah, no, leave me alone, be gone, go away, don't come near me. Quick, chase that rock. Oh, wow, no, avoid those ones. But I'm gonna have that rock, that is my lunch. Oh, crap, ow, ow, ow. Come back, rock. Come back. Oh no, there's more. There's more. Ah, bugger. Ah, crap. Come on, get me. Get got. There we go. Oh wow, red. Don't come near me, please. I'm not going to upset you. I'm not going to do anything to provoke you guys. Although in a few minutes I might have life on me. I mean, you got to, you know, from a planetary point of view, that's got to be like a fungal toe infection. I mean, life on Earth has to be like athlete's foot as far as the planet's concerned, because it's just ruined everything. I mean, there it was, just the planet just sitting pretty for possibly thousands or even millions of years. I don't know the exact time scale. I don't imagine anyone knows it accurately, but someone with more experience in geology might be able to figure out an actual answer to this. Anyway, yeah, there it was sitting pretty with a beautiful, beautiful atmosphere that was, you know, stable to a certain degree. It was, you know, it was ammonia, hydrogen, methane, you know, all kinds of interesting volcanic gases, sulfur dioxide, all that kind of stuff. Then life came along. Presumably carbon dioxide was present in large enough quantities as well, because, you know, life came along, decided, hey, I'm going to photosynthesize the shit out of your atmosphere, and oh wow, look, life's forming. And, you know, basically gave us oxygen, and it was just from that point on, oh god, it's like life's went, you know, we can screw this up so much. We can make oxygen, and then animal life came along and went, you know, we're going to show you how it's really done. And then, you know, when animal life was done, completely changing the face of the earth and populating the seas and the land surface, and they said, right, well, there's no way things can get any worse at all. This has to be the worst it can be. Along came humanity. Dude, hold my beer. Yeah, and it's been an absolute mess ever since then. Yay, I've got spaceships. Do you want to build a spaceship? Yeah, and well, you know, let's not get into environmentalism right now. We're here to enjoy a nice, pleasant stroll through the galaxy. Nice, pleasant stroll, and I just unintentionally destroyed one of my ships. Whee! I wonder if we'd win a war. I'm not convinced that we would. For some reason, my people are just building spaceships. They haven't built any turrets to defend the planet yet. Come on, guys, build me some space lasers. There we go. There's a space laser. It's on that side of the planet. Can it shoot that way? Oh, we got two. Oh, we got three. Nice. Ow! Ow! I don't like it. I don't like it. Shooting at me. Run away. I'm a cowardly planet, as it turns out. I can't imagine you'd get much in the way of life on a planet that wasn't orbiting a star system. You know, I mean, geothermal energy goes a long way, okay? There's a lot of life on Earth that is adapted to being, you know, the bottom of the seas, where there's never even a single photon of sunlight has ever been since the oceans formed. And I'm not sure to plate tectonics, but you know what I'm generally getting at. You know, there's no light down there, and life flourishes. I mean, presumably that's where life first started, but life on the surface would be quite impossible without the constant presence of a star. And, you know, it has to be a fairly stable amount of star, you know, a stable amount of energy coming from the star, rather. You know, the star can be flying all over the place for all at once, as long as the amount of energy that the surface is getting doesn't create extremes that life cannot adapt to. And, you know, a planet in interstellar space, I can't imagine it would develop life. Not on the surface. I mean, you're not going to get civilizations under the sea for the simple reason that civilization, well, as we know it, I mean, this is a pure lack of imagination on my part, but you don't get true civilization, technological civilization under the sea, because in water you can't have fire, right? And fire is the basis of our civilization. I mean, you think about it for a minute, alright? Everything we do is dependent on energy. Everything we do, and think how we get that energy. I mean, here you are, you're watching a video on YouTube, right? You're using electricity to do that, or the manipulation thereof. How do you generate electricity? Well, it's not some huge stick in the atmosphere collecting all the bloody lightning, is it? No, it's someone somewhere burning something to create, you know, to turn water into steam and power turbines and shit like that. And yes, under the water you could, in theory, survive. You know, there are other ways of generating electricity. You know, there's tides, there's geothermal energy, and certainly not solar power, because, you know, that never work underwater, but tidal energy, you know, harnessing the currents and stuff like that. Sure, you could probably do that. But that's the hard way of doing it. You think of the way technology developed, right? We didn't come up with, you know, turbines under the sea and nuclear power and geothermal energy. We came up with fire. You know. We're burning fossil fuels, and coal and wood and all things of that nature. I mean, there's certain parts of the world where they've always used, naturally occurring things. Is it somewhere in Greece there's them permanent flames from the persistent outflowing of methane from the ground or something? They're like legendary or something. I can't remember the name of them for the life of me. I'm not even sure if they're in Greece or not, but if anyone's familiar at all with what I'm talking about. Oh, look, we're a star now. Yeah, so that... I don't think... Oh, they shot at me and then they became my friends. I don't think civilization under the sea would occur as readily as it does on the surface. So you would need to be, you need to be a land-based species. I mean, for another thing, seagoing species. I mean, look at the mammalian species and whatnot. I mean, the reason I pick on the mammals is because they're demonstrably the most intelligent. You look at the mammalian species under the sea, right, and you tell me how they're going to manipulate tools in any serious way. And I don't just mean, using methodology and whatnot to catch food, okay? Because dolphins do that. Dolphins are tool users. But they don't have the finesse and manipulation that humans do. I mean, a dolphin cannot write with a pencil, okay? A dolphin cannot manufacture something. It can use sticks and rocks and, magical puffs of its tail to scare fish and startle them and help trap them. And they can herd things. I mean, we've seen dolphins herding animals, herding fish and whatnot towards each other. And then just, using that to gather food. They're very intelligent animals. But they're not widespread tool users in the same way we are. They're not animals that pass knowledge from one generation to the other in the same way humans do. Like, human strength is our writing and our ability to pass on knowledge. Okay? That is what makes the human race so advanced, so special. We can pass on this knowledge, we can build on it. But the entire civilization is built on fire. And our ability to pass on these records, it's... I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I don't see that developing on a planet in interstellar space. Microbial life, maybe? Basic organic chemistry, but... I don't know. I mean, I could see planets with life on being ejected from a solar system. How long that life would then survive, I couldn't say, because it's evolved with the presence of a stellar companion, such as a star or a sun. I mean, it could just be a huge lack of imagination on my part. It really, really could. Yeah, there we go. Right, let's just eat all of these. There we go. Right, eating the planets. I'm happy to have one planet with life on it. I mean, I assume they're not dolphins flying these spaceships, but I mind another planet with life on. There was some red guys there. Do you guys have a planet? Ooh, you do. Ooh, crap! I just accidentally ate the one planet I did have. Right, there we go, and there we go. And they're still fighting each other. Ah, run away! Oh, wow, I'm a medium star. It's not my intent to become a black hole, but it might just happen. Now, black holes are fascinating things. I mean, I'm not even going to pretend to understand them. I'm not even convinced that modern physics fully understands them. We can make predictions and tests and stuff to, we can observe them and all other stuff like that, but knowing exactly what's going on inside a closed singularity is not easy to do. And it turns out black holes evaporate away given enough time. I found that fascinating. For a minute I thought that planet was orbiting the other planet. Yeah, I found it fascinating that given enough time black holes evaporate. That just boggles my mind. These things that are so dense that even light itself cannot escape it, evaporate their mass away. Just don't ask, because I don't know. I do not know. I'm not going to pretend to know. It fascinates me, but my understanding of it is very rudimentary. Very rudimentary. I suppose I could fix that if I really wanted to, but it's finding the time. Oh wow, there's life forming on that planet. I'll eat that one. Do we have any more? Oh no, stay away from those guys. They're going to blow up my nice shiny new planet. Right, we'll have that planet as well. And nom nom nom. If I could become a large star, large. Oh crap! Run away, dude! Run away! Oh crap! Didn't mean to do that either. What's that one doing? Oh, I want to pick up a planet or two where life is forming, but I'm just not having any luck. See, this casual stroll has turned into a mission to actually accumulate life. I should know better, shouldn't I? There we go, now we're a large star. I love how the actual size of your star doesn't change, just the number of planets you can accumulate. I mean, that isn't really how it works. I mean, the only limit is I suppose, the mass of the star and the mass of the planets. There's no real limit to the amount of bodies that can be going around a star. I mean, they obviously can't get too close to each other because, you know, the gravity of one and the tidal forces and whatnot can tear a planet to pieces, which is why we have an asteroid belt. But, yeah. You know, the tidal pull of Jupiter and the Sun took what should have been a planet and made it not a planet. Created a hell of a mess, to be honest. But, yeah, this is a fascinating mess, and it tells us an awful lot. But at the same time, that space isn't exactly devoid of material, is it? You know, it's the asteroid belt. It's full of friggin' asteroids. So they're there. Now, if anyone tells me they can count how many asteroids there are in the solar system, I would call that person a liar. You know, the more we look, the bigger we realise this thing is, and the less distinct its boundaries become. Most of the planets have mostly cleared their orbit of major debris, but there are asteroids from the asteroid belt that don't actually directly orbit in the asteroid belt, or just the asteroid belt, I should say. You know, they've got hugely elliptical orbits. Some of them come as close to the Sun as Earth, or even closer. I find that fascinating. Because we think of space as this big, empty thing, and for the most part, that's kind of true. There's a lot of stuff in very concentrated places, but it's just the distance between everything becomes huge. You know, space seems empty because the distance between Earth and Mars is about that, the same as the distance between the Earth and the Sun most of the time. And the Sun is just, I mean, you cannot fathom how big the Sun is and how far away it is. I mean, it takes light 8.5 minutes to get here from the Sun. I mean, do you know how fast light is? The speed of light is the universal speed limit, but light travels at about 300 million kilometers. No, 300 million meters per second. Something like that. 300 to the power of, 3 to the power of 8, more or less. And it takes 1.5 seconds at the speed of light to reach the moon, okay? And the moon is 250,000 miles away. That's some perspective for you. So the Sun is 400 times further away, but 400 times as large. Now, I can't even wrap my mind around just how big the moon is. And then you tell me that there's this thing in the middle of the solar system that weighs more than everything else put together. I mean, the Sun is like 99.9% of all the mass in the solar system. Something like that, anyway. And the remaining mass of the solar system, 2/3 of it or more, almost 3/4 of it, is Jupiter. And the moon is tiny. I mean, the moon, by comparison, is just this teeny tiny little thing. And you think of the scale, I mean, it takes 3 days to reach the moon with conventional rockets. You know, the distance to the moon is about the distance the average family car will do in its lifetime. At least it's over in this country, anyway. And it's just that distance. You don't really ever see it put to scale. You know, you learn about it in textbooks at school, but you're not shown it to scale. It's always shown as this nice, tiny, little compact thing. They might show you the relative scale of the planets. But on a piece of paper, you know, if they were to draw the solar system to scale on just a standard piece of paper, the planets would have to be so small, all of them, even Jupiter, so small that you could not see them. They would be microscopic. So you can see why it's difficult. You can see why we struggle to convey the scale of these things. I mean, there's this thing in the city I grew up in called Cycle the Solar System, alright? And there was the Sun just placed just on the edge of the city, okay, along this cycle track that led all the way out of town. In the first half mile or so, you pass Mercury, you pass Venus, you pass Earth. Mars is a bit further away. Then by the time you get into the distances between Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune and Pluto, 'cause it was created at a time when Pluto was still considered a planet, so Pluto's there. The distance between them is measured in kilometers, and Jupiter is about the size of my fist on this scale, okay? So, you know, Saturn is a little bit smaller, Uranus and Neptune are smaller still, about the size of a golf ball. And the distance between them is kilometers. That's size scale accurate and distance between them accurate, okay? That's the kind of scale that things are that you just cannot convey. You just cannot. It just boggles your mind. And then to make things even more amusing, by the time you actually get to Pluto, you're a good... God, I thought it must be 15 to 20 miles away from where you started. And there's a plaque there saying, you know, at this distance, the nearest star, other than the sun, obviously, is... God, it's somewhere down in South Yorkshire, relative to where I'm from. It's got to be a good 60, 70, 80 miles, I don't know precisely. It tells you, you know, on this scale it would be so far away, and it's just... Oh, the space in between. The gaps. I mean, you cannot wrap your head around how big space is. It's just not a thing that you can do. You can try, but these numbers are just not something the human brain has evolved to deal with. You know, you can deal with things in, you know, miles per hour and meters and feet and yards and kilometers and, you know, even tens or hundreds of kilometers you can wrap your mind around. I mean, I can wrap my mind around the fact that it's about 800 miles from the most southwesterly point of the UK to the most northeasterly. You know, that I can kind of wrap my head around. I can even wrap my head around the fact that it's 3,000 miles to North America. You know, that kind of a huge number that I can barely grasp. But by the time you get into the millions and the hundreds of millions, and then you get into light years and parsecs. I mean, it takes 8.5 minutes for light to travel from the sun to the Earth. It takes 1.5 seconds for light to travel from the moon to the Earth. There's a light reflected from the sun, obviously. I'm not saying the moon is a light source. You know, it's huge. And then you tell me that the nearest star at that speed, you know, I could get to the moon in 1.5 seconds. And then you tell me that at that same speed, it takes 4.2, 4.3 years to reach the next nearest star after the sun. Just try and wrap your head around that distance. Just try. And, you know, you show me someone that can do it. You show me someone that says they can do that, and I will show you a liar. Because it just does not work. You know? There we go, just eating all my planets. It just boggles the mind. And this is local space as well. I mean, you then tell me that travelling at that same speed, it'd take 2.5 million years to reach the next nearest spiral galaxy. Yeah, neutron star. You just can't. You can't even, right? There's no point even pretending you can. I can't even, you can't even, no one can even. You just cannot conceptualize it. Just, space is big, alright? Space is big, let's leave it at that. And I haven't yet figured out how big this... I mean, I assume this universe is ongoing. This one here, the one I'm playing in, not the actual universe. I know the actual universe isn't infinite. And it's expanding faster than the speed of light, so we'll never see it all, so there are technically some things that are unknowable. But this universe in this game, I don't know if it's infinite. I genuinely couldn't tell you whether or not it is an infinite universe or not, but it seems that you can keep going in one direction, it never repeats. Which I think is clever, and I mean, I love the background in this. I love the multicoloured dust and the nebulae and nebulae and nebulae and nebulas, and only one of those is the actual plural. Don't worry, I'm only messing with your brain. Only a little bit. Nothing too untoward. Oh, run away from the missiles! Nah, ow, that hurt. Right, run away, run away, run away. Ah, fuck. Oh, it seems every time I make a little bit of progress, I get attacked by something. So neutron stars, you certainly wouldn't get life around a neutron star. I'm sorry, they just give out that much radiation. They'll just, you know, just obliterate anything even remotely resembling organic chemistry. You know. It's that energetic, it can break molecular bonds apart. It puts out that much radiation, right? And any DNA would unravel. It'd just be like a slinky suddenly straightening itself. It'd just be like boing, and that'd be your DNA gone. You'd be dead. You'd just be cooked alive. Not just by radiation as well. I imagine the heat's pretty intense because neutron stars are very, very dense. I don't know. I mean, just flying near one of these solar systems would not only throw all the planets out of orbit, it'd irradiate the surface of every planet that got a direct look at it. I mean, if I pass through a solar system at these speeds, say I pass through our solar system, and say it came to within about 1 AU. So say it came to about the distance of Earth orbit, passed through, didn't actually collide with the Earth. Say it passed within 1 AU of the Sun on the opposite side of the Sun to the Earth, okay? It would be travelling so fast it would go flying through, okay? Probably pass through in a matter of weeks, maybe even days, depending how quickly it's moving. And during that time, it would rip all of the planets out of orbits. It'd probably even rip some moons out of their orbits from around their planets. You know, it'd just be throwing debris all over the solar system. It'd just be like shrapnel. Everything that was in a stable orbit would just be disturbed and flying off this way and that way. Nothing good would come of it. But more than that, the surface of the Earth that happened to be facing it would just be sterilised. Especially if it was a pulsar. I mean, neutron stars get really, really condensed. They start spinning, and that's when you get a pulsar. Okay, so that spinning makes it pulse, and you get like the magnetic poles facing and whatnot, and just spewing out radiation. We're talking the most intense X-rays and gamma rays. You know, anything that got caught directly in the line of sight of these things within the same solar system, it just kill it. I don't know how quick the radiation poisoning would kill things on Earth, but you could bet by the end of the week there'd be nothing living. It'd be that intense, and you'd probably be lucky if it was by the end of the day. And, you know, the surface of the Earth would just be sterilised. I imagine it would be intense enough to touch the bottoms of the oceans, so there would be nothing left living on Earth. So how this game thinks that you can have planets orbiting them, I do not know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my estimations are way off. I know these things... I know pulsars are ridiculously inhospitable to life. It's just... I don't know. I mean, stars don't gain planets by flying around collecting them anyway, so there's that to consider. You know, this is about as accurate to stellar evolution as Spore was to biological evolution. You know, just complete and utter bollocks. But well, who knows? Who knows? Come on, are we going to do this? Are we going to become a black hole? I don't think I'm going to get the mass. I'm aiming to not make this video more than half an hour. God, I love how my gentle stroll through the universe has just become this huge quest to actually achieve something. Not going to beat the 20-minute mark. I've never beaten this game within the 20-minute mark. I just lack the skill and the ability and the intellect. That's a word. I love intellect. Some words just sound great to pronounce. Intellect is one of them. Intellect. Maybe you can make it sound just angry by changing the emphasis. Intellect. Anyway, I know, random. I like playing with words. I love playing with words. That's what language is for, as far as I'm concerned. Language is art. There's a science to it, okay? There's form and there's structure, but language is an art. It is beautiful, it is spectacular, it is the greatest of human achievements. There's got another planet around here somewhere. Language is the greatest thing humanity has ever done. Right? It allows you to store and pass on easily deciphered information, and that's how you build up your knowledge base. Because without a reliable means of passing information from one generation to the next, word of mouth just doesn't cut it. Because that's how you get legends that change over time. But you write something down, and then you preserve that thing it's written down on. That thing is preserved forever. I mean, ignoring entropy and other bullshit like that. You know? It's a foolproof way of passing things on, and it works. How do we know it works? Because we do it. Humans have been doing it for the past 10-15,000 years, which is why we have 10 or 15,000 years of written history, and why every culture on the world pretty much knows how to engage in things like agriculture and the sterilisation of water, and most have written scripts, and it's amazing how long it takes to go from the spoken word to the written word. I mean, that is the major revelation. That is the single biggest breakthrough that changes and allows civilization to occur. It just boggles my mind that without the written word, nothing we have done would be possible. I mean, yeah, you ask people what is the greatest invention humanity's ever come up with, and say like, oh, the space shuttle, it's going into space, or I don't know, clean water sterilization, or I don't know, ships that can traverse the oceans, or airplanes, the ability to fly, and all stuff like that. And I'm just like, well, what is the one thing that made all that possible? Words, language, the ability to store, process, and pass on information. Glorious. And you think of the ways that technology makes huge leaping strides. What are we improving? You look at the advent of the computer, and it gave us new ways to perform better and faster and more accurate calculations, precision, more precise tools. But when you think about it, they're all dealing with ways to handle and process information, which again is language. Even maths is a language. Maths is the language. Well, maths is the language that lets you describe physics, and physics is the way the universe works. So there you go. I'm rambling on now, but my awe at some things is just I just cannot accurately articulate. I cannot fully express it, which is ironic given I'm talking about language and communication. But yes, I'm just dumbfounded by the ingenuity of language and things like that. And anything that fascinates me, I can ramble at length about it. As you may have noticed, it's just like yeah, words, just words, and I'm done. Look at this, we are so close to ending the universe. It's so cool to end the universe. Come on, universe, finish, end, be done, be finished, be gone. No, don't go that way. How is it when I'm this close to the big crunch there can still be bigger black holes? That's what I don't get. I mean, it isn't true that there is always a bigger black hole. Somewhere in the universe there is the biggest black hole, and that's it. There is a limit on the size there can be. Right, there's a huge discrepancy between this game and reality, but then I suppose it wouldn't be a game without it. You have to let go of realism in order to get something playable, you know? I feel like they could have made this hugely realistic, but then you'd be sitting around for 4 billion years in your computer waiting for a star to form. There you go. Just like that, I ended space-time. Unfortunate, but sometimes the way the week goes. Oh well. Until next time, guys, take care, have fun, and keep rambling.
If you enjoy my efforts to be vaguely entertaining, you can now support me on Patreon. $1, a pound, a yen, a euro, whatever you've got, whatever you can spare, all helps. Over 1 million fed. Thank you for watching, and ta-ra.